Onstage, onstage with Jim Tom. 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 Tom, and Jim.
Tonight we welcome Frankie Boots and the County Line back to the stage of the Phoenix Theater. A few months ago, the band threw a party in this very building to celebrate the release of their new full-length LP, Leave the Light On. They have shared the stage with greats like Robert Earl Keen, Leon Russell, and Pokey LaFarge, and for 2 years in a row have been voted Best Band in the North Bay Bohemian. This is a band that, in their own words, paints images of late nights, lost love, and the grittier side of life. Hopefully tonight, we'll explore all three of those things in-depthly. Please welcome to the program, Sonoma County's own Frankie Boots and the County Line.
Thank you. Man, what a pleasure.
So this is a special kind of moment in the band's history. The band was formed 2012, and you're planning a move pretty soon.
Yeah, I think, my girlfriend and I are going to move down to New Orleans for a little bit and see how that goes. I love it here. I've lived here my entire life, whether it be here in Sonoma County or San Francisco. And, you know, at 35 years old, I kind of feel like I want to experience like another culture and just see, culture, at least in America. You know, the South is a very different place, and New Orleans into itself is different, like little microcosm of that.
You had a chance to play there already, I think, haven't you?
For sure. I mean, you know, the whole thing about the South and like Southern hospitality, it's a real thing. You know, it's you get down there and people kind of welcome you into their home, and people are stoked that you're in their town. And not that doesn't happen out here, but I think down there just people kind of move a little bit slower, just as you know, in a good way, and are a little more appreciative of things sometimes, especially with live music. There's really a culture for it, and then the type that we play goes over really well there.
But this is a symbolic moment because you played with a number of these folks for a really, really long time. And
Absolutely.
now you're headed out.
Yeah, I mean, with the caveat that I'm going to be back quite often. We generally tour, you know, every other month or what we would like to. And so I plan on coming back pretty often and doing runs along the West Coast. That's another part of it, is that being able to move out there is kind of like setting up a franchise down the South. Like, I feel like we have a pretty solid like fan base. I mean, obviously we're trying to grow it constantly on the West Coast, but these guys are going to be here, and I mean, I hope they want to continue to play with me. But fly back home and do a run and fly back out, it's with a few $100 back and forth. It's not too crazy. So I would like to try to remain a continuous, you know, performer on the West Coast as well.
Is part of leaving the area also because you feel like you've outgrown the area a little bit?
Oh, absolutely not. No. I mean, part of it is because, you know, down in the South, just since it's so old, the way that it's set up down there is that, you know, you can drive an hour and a half and be in a new market, or drive an hour, 2 hours. Everything is like kind of set up really close together. On the West Coast, you know, you can still do it, but it's like you drive 4 hours, 5 hours. If you drive east, you get past Nevada, it's pretty tough to find some gigs out that way. You can really tour efficiently out there. But, I mean, a lot of it is the cost of living here is kind of really taking a toll. And and so I think that we all, anybody at this table here who is kind of working as a full-time musician also has a side things that they have to do to kind of make ends meet. It's just like the name of the game living here. The cost of rent is expensive, gas is expensive, everything is expensive. And so I think that also takes a toll on the artistic community. I think San Francisco is a perfect example of that, and I think it's kind of moving outward. And one other big reason is you can really live down there and be a professional musician. We went on tour earlier this year, and I mean, guys owned their houses down there and played just as much, if not less, than we do, or Josh does. I mean, how many days a week do you think you play on average? 4 or 5?
Dude, 3 or 4, 3 to 5.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and like the guys are playing down there doing the same thing he's doing, and they own their houses and they're living comfortably.
Yeah, they're getting paid.
Yeah, and I don't, you know, it's a conflict for myself too, because I love it here, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm abandoning it or giving up hope, because that's not it at all. I think that for me personally, I've never lived anywhere else, so I want to experience something else, and at 35 years old, it's kind of the time to do it. And I also think that it could be a really great way for me to be able to move and focus fully on music and not have side jobs, where I have to go like, do some manual labor or do this or that, which I kind of do to have to make ends meet, and being able to fully focus on music and live comfortably sounds pretty nice.
You spent some time as a bartender.
I did.
Did that influence your songwriting aesthetic?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think as a bartender, you really get to see a side of humanity that a lot of people don't get to see in the nature of people. You see some really good stuff and you see some really ugly stuff, and it can become part of you in a way,
Because you're spending so much time with these people.
Absolutely. And there's the local bar that you can work in, which I kind of started off working at Negri's out in Occidental.
Oh, yeah.
And love the people there. But anytime you have a local bar or something like that, you have the same guy who comes in every day, and you're going to hear the same stories from him every single day. So that can be so monotonous, you just want to beat yourself over the head with a Jameson bottle. And you do, like figuratively and literally sometimes.
Well, at least it's Jameson.
But you also get the random person who walks in and becomes a friend of yours for the next 20 years. So, or at least the next 14. But it's a real give and a take, and you can see some really ugly stuff. Fights, I tended bar in the city. I also tended bar in Occidental. So between the two, I feel like I was doing research at that point in my life.
It does feel like the themes that run through your songs could have come from a small tavern.
Yeah.
And or maybe the person sitting at the bar still
Totally.
telling you about all the things that went wrong, and you're
Absolutely.
like, hold on a second, I'm going to take a couple notes
This
here.
is good stuff. Let me get this down.
Did you ever find out, like a guy who comes in every day for 15 years, do you ever find out the backstory about what life was like before?
Oh, absolutely.
They tell you that.
Oh, yeah. I've heard just crazy stories of people who like were extremely wealthy and lost it all, lost things in a divorce. I've heard people tell me stories of going to prison, like Leavenworth, and was friends with that guy and was a really nice guy. And he would come in and regale me with stories of like fights in the yard and stuff. And I was like, what? It's crazy. And then you get, the other thing about tending bars, you get everybody's opinions too. Everybody wants to tell you what they think the world should be and who you should be and what you should be doing. And as a bartender, it's kind of your job to listen to it. You're not supposed to, there's certain bars you can work in where you have the final say, but there's other places you work where you kind of have to put up with whatever they want to give you. So throughout all that, you can learn a lot if you kind of try to keep your mind open to it. And just hearing people's opinions on the way it was back in the 70s, and things were a simpler time in the 60s and all this stuff, and everybody, it's kind of like you're taking all these people's knowledge and the things that they've gained, and they're kind of giving it a little bit to you. So you can learn a lot from the 80-year-old man at the end of the bar, and you can learn a lot from the chick who turned 21 that night who's got a tiara and spilling drinks on herself.
Do you feel jaded?
I don't think I feel, I don't know if I feel jaded. I think that there's a lot of stuff out there to see, but I think that I've maintained such a similar landscape for so long. The house I live in now, I've lived in for like the last 8 years, and I feel sometimes that it's becoming less inspiring to like look at the same stuff, see the same things, walk out the same front door every day, and that can take a toll on me. And I'm thankful for everything that I've done, like that's good or bad, and I'm ready for more stuff that's either good or bad. I just want something different,
Your lyrics on your latest album, just zoomed out. It seems like a character, whether it's you or whether it's somebody else, who has a lot of like emotional scar tissue. And it's just kind of like, well, I've done some bad stuff and I've done some good stuff, and I'm just going to reflect a little bit on that.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the time I draw on that because, my 20s, especially my early 20s, were pretty bad, my mom, told my current girlfriend's mom, like when they met, she's like, oh, God, we're just so happy. We didn't think he was going to live to see 25, so it's just so nice that he's here. Oh my God. Yeah, and my girlfriend's mom was like, okay, I think so. And
honey, could we just have a minute here?
Yeah, yeah. And it's I've come pretty close to dying. Like this gal shot me with a pellet gun one time and collapsed my lung and came like that close to my heart. I was in the hospital for a few days, and this is all like drinking related. I pretty much did it to myself. But and just a lot of really close calls, a lot of stints in jail, you know, and being in and out like on these alcohol related offenses and stuff, and just being a young person who didn't really think that anything was ever going to happen to them, you know, and that was like a big part of from about when I was like 16 to like, you know, 25 was probably a lot of like, I'm sure I feel so bad for my parents. I'm sure they're going to watch this, and I apologize, but you know, I didn't talk to my dad for a long time, and didn't talk to either one of them for a long time, and that was kind of stuff that I look back on and I regret. And so there's always going to be a feeling of like, you know, could have done better, like wish I would have done better, but at the same time it kind of makes you who you are. And like, I mean, I've just tried to do my best with like drawing upon that and building on it, and you know.
But they're still here, right? Your folks?
Yeah.
Get that apology in.
Yeah, I mean, like we're the best of friends now, you know. I mean, we've it's, you know, taken years and to kind of get to where we're at now. And I mean, it was a rough patch, but like we're, you know, they're the best, and they've been nothing but supportive of what I've done, especially, you know, at 30 years old. I'm like, I'm going to be a musician, guys. Like, what? Aren't you supposed to do that when you're like 22 or something?
Well,
like,
you know,
what's wrong with you?
I didn't know a lot of that history, and I'm sure there's a lot of other exciting history to share. But I just wonder if you would be as successful and effective in this role that you fulfill now without that history.
No, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, now I call it my research period, you know, because when I was younger, I just took for granted the fact that I was young and I was healthy and I was just I had so much time, you know. I wish that I could go back and just like talk to myself and be like, listen, dude, I mean, cool, do your thing, but maybe, you know, pick a path. And I was always very interested in like creative things and like want to be a writer, and that was kind of led into songwriting. But I just wish I would have had a little more urgency. But at the same time, I look back on that and I'm like, well, I mean, what would I have to say? You know, when you're younger, you don't have a lot to say sometimes because you haven't really figured it out. And I think that all that like fast living and kind of like really crazy times gave me a lot to talk about. And I don't think I would have been able to do this, what I'm doing right now, without those times.
Yeah, I think that, you know, when I hear you sing those things, and you guys all know the songs, and Tom, you've spent some time with it today. I mean, I don't know, I believe you. I
would like to make a very clear point here that I grew up with every opportunity given to me, and I put myself in these positions. It was not like I had a terrible upbringing or anything like that. I want to make that a point because, you know, from the outside looking in, this could be, I had all the best, you know, chances in the world, and these were all things that I kind of put myself in through a series of bad decisions.
This may be too personal of a question, and we'll just cut it out if it doesn't work. In retrospect, having emerged from the rough period, do you have insight as to why you were so prone to self-destruction?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that when I was growing up, so my mom was a superintendent at the school district in Roanoke Park, Kentucky, and I grew up going to school there, and so it was very important that I always got good grades, and, you know, they encouraged me to always do my best, and it was great. You know, for a lot of years that worked out well, and teachers were like, oh, you're going to have this teacher, you're going to have this teacher. And so there was a lot of years in my life when anything less than like an A was like unacceptable, you know, and so once I got to high school and I kind of, you know, you get to that point where you can start making some conscious decisions for yourself to be a different way if you want to, and realize that the blowback that you're going to get from it might be worth it because you get a little freedom out of that, and you gives you a little more life to even do it even more. And so when I got to high school, I think that a lot of years of just having a lot of pressure to, you know, be in all these honors classes and be in GATE and all this stuff, I think it just got to me, and I was like, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. So I started cutting a lot of classes and smoking a lot of weed and drinking and hanging out with, you know, not bad people at all, you know, but people with similar interests at the time. And so I think I was pushed so far in one direction that I couldn't wait to just go super far the other direction. And that caught on, and that took really well. And it turns out I'm pretty good at drinking. So, you know, I took that and I ran with it for a lot of years, and I got really good at it towards the end there. And I'm still pretty good at it, but just not with the same kind of gusto in the same direction. But
less intensity.
Exactly. Yeah. And but so I think that was kind of what pushed me in that direction, was just trying to be the opposite of what I was,
what you were being told you had to be.
Yeah, it was like, you're going to go to college and you're going to be in these honors classes and stuff. I was like, oh, you think so? Huh? Well, I mean, watch this. Not even going to graduate high school.
Maybe not.
So, and I mean, that was, and that's where kind of the rub was with me, my folks, and they're good people. And I mean, I would not want to have to deal with me at that point either. I feel bad for them and just like, but it was what it was, and it just kind of all came full circle, and I think that's kind of what led me down that path, and once I got going down that path.
Josh, you and I were at a show here like a month or two ago,
Yeah.
and we were talking about this move that Frankie's doing,
Yeah.
and you were kind of talking about how it was significant because you have such musical history with him.
Yeah. I feel like Frankie and I went to college together almost. I mean, neither of us went to college, but I feel like we learned how to be in a band together. Not that, I mean, I had been in bands before, but not outside of a garage, kind of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I learned to play upright bass with Frank, and I learned to play guitar with Frank. It'll be weird to not have this band in my life in such a big way after so long that it's been such a big part of my day to day.
You kind of learn to be like adult musicians together in some ways.
Yeah,
I mean, you were all musicians
Yeah.
before knowing each other.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everybody else on the table.
It's true.
But I mean, you played in plenty of other bands, but some of the stuff you've done in the last 3 years is a lot more than the stuff you did in the 3 years prior to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's been a character.
I think, to chime in on that subject too, we, booked some tours together, which
Yeah.
was like the first time I'd ever done that,
Same.
and kind of played, I'd really never played anywhere aside from, 2010 or 11 was probably when I played my first actual shows with a band, and so it was all pretty new to me. And then I think Josh was kind of still picking up the upright bass, and
which might be inspirational to people because that was what, you were 28, 29 when that happened?
Yeah, 28, 29, and that's I'd say if you want to do something, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Life is too short. I mean, it could all be over tomorrow. And on top of that, if you feel passionate about something and your heart's in it, you'll succeed. You just gotta believe in yourself and keep on doing it. And even if it's eking out a living, just making $20,000 a year and
That'd be nice.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, well, it's and you eat food for free. You're eating at your venues and stuff. You get people. The artist lifestyle, I think, is richer than just whatever your annual income is.
Yeah.
Well, the potential for reinvention, I think, is something people feel like
For
they
sure.
lose when they're 25,
For
30
sure.
and above. They,
Yeah,
I can't tell you how many, and I bet
Yeah.
you hate hearing this just as much as I do. I can't tell you how many people I know who are in their late 20s who are oh, I'm so old. As if
totally.
the door's just closed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
we can't add anything new to the book.
That's how people in their 40s here, when I say that I'm 35, you're I'm a million years old now. And you're dude, what's that?
I just think the potential for reinvention in your personal life and also you doing that and then affecting these other 4 individuals is a beautiful thing.
I really appreciate it. And I hope that, I hope that this doesn't come off as a farewell to Frankie Boots in the County Sonoma County or something. It's not what I want it to be, but I do appreciate it, and I think that it's just going to be a new step in another direction, and I think we'll all go there together.
I think what this is it's just like when anybody else comes on the show. This is just a line in the sand where we were at in 2016.
For sure.
So, so thank you guys for joining us tonight and
thanks
going
a lot.
so deep on this stuff.
Totally.
It's a pretty exciting thing to watch.
Thank you.
And to everybody listening, stick around because my goodness,
You can hear what we've been talking about.
you can hear what we've been talking about. The reason to be Frankie Boots in the County Line is going to play us a bunch of songs. So stick around for that. And once again, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you
Thanks
guys.
for having
Man.
us.
It's been the best.
Thanks, friends.
Come on now, woman, don't you take too long. We got to the end of the song. Yeah, we're going out tonight. We're gonna have us a blast. There's a few things that we do well in the bedroom all by ourselves, but we're out so much, we're running so fast. Yeah, we're living every night. Well, I gets all last. Here we go. Couple truths you need to know. I'm a tumbleweed, I don't ever stay at home. I'm a live wire, baby. I'm ready to blow. We've been drinking for months on end. I've been hungover since I don't know when. Oh, but there's a brown cur that lives in a green glass. So we're living every night like it's all last. All right. Say maybe and I say so. Well, you get crazy and I start to go. Well, you promised me, baby, you never let it stop. And I swear I'll fill your glass right to the top. Oh, and we build them up, we tear them down every damn night out on this town. Well, now don't you threaten me, mama, with a good time. We don't live to see tomorrow. Put on your best dress and let's forget your sorrow. It's our last chance, baby, to dance. So we're living every night like it's our last. Yeah, we're living every night. Yeah, we're living every night like it's our last. Been driving up and down the state, selling my wares indeed. But I ain't got the same load as these truckers next to me. In the back of Tortuga could buy me some years, either living comfortably or in that penitentiary. Well, I have myself a woman and I have myself a job, but I quit them both in 96 the day they passed that law. And I ain't got no family to be told, but I got dollar stacks that I can't even fold. I had Saudis, a granddaddy, blueberry, bubbleberry, old gin, Hindu kush, hash plain, African, green crack, jack flash, pineapple punch. Northern Lights, number 9, that big bud. Won't you take me slow everywhere I go, my turtle? Take me slow everywhere I go, my turtle. So I'm moving to the rest stops and all the gas stations. Made the road my own, then passing lanes, my friend. With some Lodhi to my radio, sweating missiles everywhere I go. Why? 'Cause I had Saudis and granddaddy, blueberry, bubbleberry, OG, and Hindu good. Hash flat, African, green crack, jack flash, pineapple punch. Northern Lights, number 9, that big bud. Won't you take me slow everywhere I go, my turtle? Take me slow everywhere I go, my turtle. Won't you whisper in my till I come home. Won't you find me another place that I can lay low? Take me from this road, save me from this road. Let me know when I'm near. Oh, oh, oh. Well, now burn up on them books on tape, break, just drive straight. Be on time everywhere you go, even if they're late. And these are the few things that you need to know. You're gonna push Tortuga down that road. You're gonna push Tortuga down that road. But I had Sally's the granddaddy, blueberry, buckleberry, OG, and Dukas. Hash playing African, green crack, jack bass, pineapple punch. Know the lines, number 9, that big bud. Won't you take me slow everywhere I go, my turtle? Take me slow everywhere I go, my turtle. I hear the wheels creak and the horses lean, but the lights are dead in your eyes. I can tell by the way the conductor yells that it's all that's right. And it ain't always been a good one, it's been a long one, that's for sure. It all seems so surreal, but you know what we're headed for. Baby, we've been riding this rusty carousel to hell. How long will it go on? Well, we bought our tickets young and it was fun for quite some time, but you can't ride for free forever without spending a dime. So we sunk every last thing we had into all that we ever knew. It ain't never been enough, and you know that we're overdue. Oh, baby, we've been riding this rusty carousel to hell. How long will it go on? Take that step, I guess we both know it's for the best. Look back with fond memories, well, forget about the race. And the next wheel that your heart reveals, well, it's shiny and loud. Hit a road if it goes too slow, like the one that you're riding now. Baby, we've been riding this rusty carousel. Well, how long will it go on?
rusty carousel to hell. How long will it go on? Favorite shirt on, the one with the hole, the one with the trick up the sleeve. I wear my heart on, the soul of a poor boy, the smile of a suit. I'm a half a keep mama, but I'm half bad dude. Oh, I always tender than both. Together they make up one beast of a man. Try my best, but the wicked can't get no rest. I just do what I can. As a heartbreaker, bootlegger, feeling your love to hate, but I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Troublemaker, home wrecker, pantry, saying a bad behavior, but I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Skated by most of this life. If you're gonna act dumb, well, you gotta be smart. Laugh at all my jokes, put up with all my smoke. Took just another teary cheek that I left off in the dark. But a heart beats in this bastard somewhere deep down, but nobody knows just how to get there. Ain't been seen in so many years, but I feel like it's near. Some bad behavior, no savior, begging without a prayer, but I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Moonshine and bad timing, spinning yarn some silver line, but I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Right. It's the last thing I do. I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do, yeah. Well, I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. I'm gonna get it right. Last thing I do, yeah. Well, I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Oh, well, I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Yeah, well, I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Oh, well, I'm gonna get it right. It's the last thing I do. Yeah, well, I'm gonna get it right. If it's the last thing I do. the after party and the late night freaks. I can beat 'em, so I join 'em, but please leave the light on. Leave the light on for me. These ballroom stages keep me out all night, but I'll be home to sing you a lullaby if you leave the light on. I'll tuck you in tight when I'm swerving home all alone. It's the only thing in sight. It's Bloody Marys when you're coming home. I'm having my nightcap when you're hitting your lawn. Leave the light on, and I'll follow you into the dawn, yeah. I get caught up at my liquor store. Can't escape this time's detour. Leave the light on. Leave my demons at the door. When I crawl in your arms, they can't harm me no more. Smell your hair, girl, your lips, I can taste them from here now. But don't I need something to put my eyes on? Out in this tempest, distressed, I need a light on in the horizon. I need in that horizon. Barking up debacles and flop house suites ain't never swept me off my feet. So leave a light on, and I won't make a peep. If you wait, don't hesitate to turn that light off with me. Don't hesitate, no, to turn that light off with me. Feel your eyes on me. Body language, just a novel pole. All the pieces in their perfect places for a natural disaster. Well, we both have our reasons to keep a safe distance, but it takes two to tango, yeah, two song. It's the sound of your voice left us no choice. Now we gon' have to duel at dawn. It's getting late, it's getting wrong. Oh Lord, I'm making these eyes all day and night. Now we gon' have to duel at dawn. Yup. Bottle and you know it's just a matter of time. You seem to have misplaced your head and I'm fresh out of mind. But it's becoming quite clear what's going on here now. Just friends don't talk to just friends with fate in hand and a second thought. We'll meet again, a coincidence I think, not blame the drink. It ain't our fault. Love crazy, locked in a cage. Now we gon' have to duel at dawn. A duel at dawn, a duel at dawn. It's gone on now for much too long. We gonna settle this once and for all, because you and me, baby, gonna duel at dawn. Oh! Second chance at all. Now fate works in mysterious ways, so we gon' have to duel at dawn. We gon' have to duel at dawn. We gon' have to duel at dawn.